Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. We are live. We are back after, I guess it was about a month. Yeah, we took about a month
Yeah,
off. Yeah.
over a month.
It is From the Pocket, your favorite all football podcast, coming at you live in the middle of off season 2025. We are just a few days removed from free agency beginning. Some stuff's still happening, some stuff's still
I thought
bubbling
I
up.
thought today was officially the day it was supposed to happen.
Dude, it might. I don't know. I don't know
I
what the league
thought I
wants.
swear when I looked it up, I was like, "Hey, when do you want to come back?" And did I ask AI? I may have got the answer from AI.
March 12th
AI
feels like it's
Google.
around the day. But anyway, we are back. We're here to talk about free agency. It's been popping off for a few days now.
It has. It's
Um,
been really popping.
it's been good. It's been okay. Honestly, it was kind of a weak free agency class, but there were still some interesting moves here and there, some nice deals. And actually, I'm glad we're coming on right now because I have some breaking news that just came through the wire
Whoa.
for some free agency news. This is some big news
Oh.
here.
Oh no.
I'm just reading the details. Yeah, wow.
Who just got signed? I'm looking for it.
Rico Dowdle got signed by the Panthers for $6 million.
Damn, they just won free agency.
They just won it. That's it. Bryce Young
That's
will
an
never have to
A.
throw another pass in his life. No, yeah, it's there's been some good signings. We're gonna talk about it here, but yeah, Christian, how you been? How you been since the Super Bowl and that monstrosity of a game that they made in March?
I've been okay. Got a tattoo, new
Nice.
tattoo. I got this a few days ago, actually. That time change was a motherfucker, though.
Oh man,
I was, I was out I was out because my coworker was DJing at this bar in Dallas, and I don't know why I stayed, but till 2, but I decided to stay till 2.
2 o'clock didn't
Well,
exist.
yeah, it hit 1:59, and
It was 3.
then 3. It went immediately to 3, and I was like, I gotta go home. And then it kind of messed up my whole Sunday. I slept most of the day. Uh, I saw Mickey 17
Oh, we're seeing
on
that
Monday.
tomorrow. We're seeing that tomorrow.
I would love to hear your thoughts. Wasn't wasn't my favorite. I thought it was gonna. I was hoping for it to be. Was supposed to. I was hoping it was gonna be like my movie of the year, but it's still a good movie. I really liked everyone. Robert Pattinson was great. I thought everyone was pretty good in the movie. It was just I don't know. I guess I just expected too much of it, especially just coming off Parasite. The director.
Dude,
I
Parasite's one of my favorite movies ever. Bong Joon-ho.
I yeah. It's not better than Parasite.
I mean, there's literally maybe 7 movies ever made better than Parasite. So I don't blame. My expectation is not for it to be as good as Parasite, but
Yeah, I was hoping it was. So, yeah. So, but it's still enjoyable. I think you'll like it. It's a little weird.
love it.
But I like Robert Pattinson in a weird role is pretty good. I don't know if you saw Lighthouse.
I loved Lighthouse. I love Lighthouse. That is such a good movie.
He's not doing that type of stuff, but it's a little goofier. But yeah, it's still great. Still great overall.
Cool. We've been watching Severance.
Severance.
We're caught up on Severance now. So the season
heard
finale
nothing
comes
but
out on
good
Friday.
things. I would need to catch up on that. Invincible. There's a lot of shows.
I didn't catch up on Invincible. Yeah, Severance. Quick review. A little slow for me.
Really, I heard season 1 was amazing.
Honestly, it's good. It's really good. Maybe it's a crazy show. The payoffs are crazy. The more they introduce you, I just feel like the pacing could be a little better. Because straight up, the first 4 episodes, I'm just like, dude, can something happen? Can something happen, please?
I was hearing it was compared to the season 1 of Westworld.
Westworld's a little slow too.
No, season 1.
Yeah, Westworld season 1's a little slow too.
Okay.
Because I will say, and I imagine Severance has the same kind of thing going for it. When we watched Westworld for the first time, we were like, okay, it's fine. And then by the end of season 1, we were like, this is a great show. When you go back and rewatch season 1, because Westworld's very complicated, it's very esoteric and complicated. So when you get a second watch and you know what's going on and you understand the concepts that they're trying to teach you, I think it makes it much more enjoyable. And I've heard Severance is similar, where there's just so many Easter eggs and there's so many things, and you pick them up as you watch it too. So that's really cool. But I feel like the show's kind of slower than people want to let on. But it's a really good show. Like, I would recommend it. It's good, and you probably want to watch it because it's going to be the show everybody talks about for the next like 5 years.
Oh yeah, I've heard nothing but it, and it seems like they have an ending. They're not trying to go, you know, you know,
I
take
feel
it,
that.
take like they're not trying to stretch the story out as much as they are. Ben Stiller and that crew seems to know that what they want to do with it. So
Well, all right, it's time to get into some free agency though. We've got a lot to talk about.
yeah,
Wanted to break this up in a particular way. Wanted to talk about some specific teams, and we can kind of go back and forth and pick a team for a little while that we want to talk about. I don't want to talk about every team. I don't care about every team. Not every team was interesting, but
if
there
you
are
want to talk about the Jaguars
not really,
signing Nick Mullins.
not really, but it's okay. They're good. They're fine. You know, we'll see what they do with their new coach. I did want to start with, I think, the team that everybody is saying basically won free agency, and that is the Chicago Bears.
I really dug what Chicago was doing. I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, yeah, you're good. I mean, you basically saying what I was about to say. It's
went all in on their offensive line.
that's exactly what they needed to do. Like they have now, and you know, I mean, people are like I've heard some criticism
Grady
that's
Jarrett
like
too. So
yeah, I like the Grady Jarrett sign it. Like
Dale. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not. So I mean, invested in both their offensive and defensive line.
yeah, no, and I'm
Well
always
done.
a fan of that. I think, you know, one criticism I'm hearing from a lot of people is like, oh, you know, they're spending so many draft picks to do this, and it's like I don't need if you're telling me it's
Caleb
like,
is your guy.
yeah,
Sorry.
like if we could spend a fourth rounder to draft a random offensive lineman, or we can trade that fourth rounder and get Joe Thuney from the Chiefs, like why wouldn't I do that? Like my offensive line is like I'm trying to win right now. Caleb Williams has 3 years, maybe 2 until we have to pay him.
Yeah.
Like our window is 2 to 3 years. We need to go win right now. Like they have the draft capital. Go pick up some guaranteed hits on the offensive line. Build that offensive line. Build around Caleb Williams. You already got the weapons, you know. And it honestly, like now, it makes their first round pick that much more exciting. Are they going to go get a running back? Are they going to go get a defensive player and continue to bolster the defensive side of the ball? Like, I mean, this is a team that's like, it really does feel like they could be very competitive in this upcoming season.
They need to be. They got the pack. They got to play the Packers twice. The Lions are, I think, still going to be good, and the Vikings not going to be as good as they are. Like, spoiler alert, I don't think that's breaking news. I don't think I'm saying anything controversial. I don't think the Vikings are going to win 14 games next year with JJ McCarthy. So, but it's still going to be very competitive, and yeah, they're doing it right. They're building their offensive line, and they're trying to build their defensive line. I liked both of their signings there. So yeah, they're doing a great job building around Caleb. Like you said, I mean the salary cap is going up and up every year. I think we're almost at 300 million. I think.
Yeah, it's like 280 now or something.
I thought it was at 290.
It probably is. It's just keeps going up every year.
I mean, but like you said, in the next 2 or 3 years, quarterback's gonna be making like 60 something. No, Dak's making 60.
Dak is not making 60, but I don't think anybody's going to sign a.
I mean,
Josh Allen didn't even get 60 million on his average.
I mean, in 2 to 3 years, I mean, dude, we're gonna be 65, like 60. Like, it's just gonna keep going up and up. So, like, it's gonna get more and more expensive to pay these quarterbacks. So, yeah, this is what they need to do. So, the great job, Ryan Poles, I think, is that their GM's name? Yeah. So great job by him. Like you said, this opens up now for their first round. Well, I don't know who they're gonna get. I don't even know where they're picking right.
I think they're picking 10th, 9th or 10th.
Okay, yeah, and then quarterbacks are going to be going in those first few rounds. So you're going to have to pick a litter of who you want on your team
They're
that you
picking
think
10th.
is the best. Yeah, so you can get the. I mean, few teams are going to be fighting for quarterbacks up there at the top. So the 10th, you're sitting fairly pretty with who you want talent wise and who you think's gonna make your team better.
Well, I mean, they can also, they did this when in Detroit when Ben Johnson was there, where, and I know that's a totally different team, like in terms of GM, front office, and everything, so they might not have the same philosophy, but like they took Jahmyr Gibbs in the middle of the first round a couple years ago, and everybody was like, "What are you doing? Why are you taking Jahmyr Gibbs?" I think it was like right after Bijan had been taken, and then they took Jahmyr Gibbs, and people were like, Jahmyr Gibbs not a first rounder, and then Jahmyr Gibbs turns out to be a superstar, and he's a stud. So they'll be surprised if they try to do something like that, where maybe they go get Ashton Gianti, maybe not, but Ben Johnson has a scheme he wants to follow, and that scheme in part is having dominant offensive line play and being able to cram the ball down your throat in the run, and setting up his quarterback for in the pass with a bunch of creative schemes. Don't be surprised if that's exactly what they pursue here. I really like what the Bears have done. Good on the Bears. I give them. I don't think you can give them anything other than an A. Like, I think anything else, you're just being super nitpicky. Bringing on Ben Johnson, which, I expressed some skepticism about Ben Johnson, not because of Ben Johnson, but just because the concept of bringing in a first-time head coach when you have a quarterback that is like, hey, we kind of need this guy to work. But overall, like, I think with what we know, they deserve it. I want to talk about another team here that I have not been happy with at all. I think their offseason has been ridiculous and stupid. And I feel very strongly about this.
Who are you talking about?
The Houston Texans.
Oh.
I think their offseason's been stupid. I think they've been.
See what are they doing? They re-signed their running back Braxton Berrios. He came from the Dolphins. Christian Kirk, 7th round pick. Russell Watson on the line. Really invested in their defense.
Yeah, and I don't hate that. Like, Derek Barnett, solid. Getting Sheldon Rankins, veteran, solid. He's not bad. He's a rental. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, solid. Like, I'm not saying they haven't made solid moves, but like, this team had one glaring hole that they needed to address this offseason, and it was their offensive line, and they haven't done it.
I mean, they did have. I get the receiver. They went 3 receivers. I mean, look, they lost. I think Tank Dell? I don't know if Tank Dell's going to be starting next year. I don't know when he's going to be back. And I don't know. I don't know if Stephon, he might be there for the beginning of the season, but who knows? But I can see why they went so heavily. They focused heavily on wide receiver. They did get demolished there, but maybe their plan is, hey, they had weren't a few guys injured on their offensive line. Maybe they might go offensive line. But then they lost Laramie Tunsil. They lost Laramie Tunsil?
Yeah, they lost Laramie Tunsil too. Laramie Tunsil gone.
Oh, I thought he was still under contract.
Nah, Laramie Tunsil got signed by the to the Commanders.
Oh.
Like,
For some reason, I thought he was still under contract.
No,
I guess I missed that one.
I get it. Like, look, Tank Dell might never play football again. And if he does, who knows in what capacity it'll be. He's had 2 seasons in the NFL now. Both seasons have ended with knee injuries. Like, I'm sympathetic to that. Stephon Diggs, season-ending injury last year. Clearly, he's an older player. Like, I don't mind getting Christian Kirk for a 7th rounder. I don't mind Braxton Berrios. Like, that's okay to me. I'm like, okay, and then what? And they're like, make a bunch of defensive linemen. And I'm like, and then what? And they're like, traded Laramie Tunsil. And I'm like, okay, that is the opposite of what you need to be doing right now. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And I just, like, the thing that I thought really doomed this team was its offensive line. It made C.J. Stroud regressed last year, and I think 70% of it was because of this offensive line, and they just made no effort. They got worse. I mean, they got worse at offensive line. And I just, like And it's kind of similar to what the Chiefs have done, but the Chiefs have stopped it a little bit. Like, they kept Trey Smith, they got rid of Joe Tooney, but, they did trade for the backup tackle from the 49ers, which, not bad. Maybe he could be a decent piece, but, like, I don't know. Like, when you're trading away offensive linemen and you're not making any effort to re-sign your offensive linemen or bring more in outside of Lake and Tomlinson, I was not a fan of it.
Maybe I don't know if they had a lot of young guys. Maybe they have a plan to focus on that. Like, that's a big focus in the draft, maybe, but still, like, that's still going to be a young line. It's going to take a minute for that to gel. And I don't know. Maybe they're thinking like they could just sleepwalk to another AFC South division win.
And they might be right.
I don't know what the Jags are doing. We'll see if Trevor Lawrence can bounce back with their coach from the Bucks. I can't remember his name. I just remember the Duval thing. He's from the Bucks. I forgot his name. The Colts signed Daniel Jones. I guess giving Anthony Richardson some kind of I don't even say rival. I don't know. I don't know what's going on over there in Indianapolis. That's weird. Jags are question mark, and the Titans should be going quarterback, but I don't know. I don't know what the Titans are going to do.
I mean, it honestly, like, I heard some in the middle of the season last year, towards the end of the season, like when we already knew what these teams were and who Will Levis has been. They said that there's a chance that Will Levis played himself into another year, only because the quarterback class this year is so weak that it's like, hey, let's draft somewhere else, roll the dice with Will Levis, and if we bottom out again, we can just pick a quarterback in a stronger class next year.
I mean, yeah, that also that works out too.
So, you know what? I've picked the first two teams. Christian, is there a team in particular you want to talk about? I've got a few others.
I want to talk about a player more than a team.
Oh, do you want to do that right now, or do you want to come to the player section? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
What?
It's a little strange.
So my theory is, my theory. I just think maybe at the end of the season or whatever, he went up to him and to the GM or whatever and was like, "Hey, I want a new contract." And they were like, "Myles, I think we still got you under contract, man. I don't think we should give you any more money." And he was like, "Well, trade me." And they were like, "What?" And it was like, well, "Trade me. I want to go to a contender." And we're like, "Oh shit!
Yeah,
Myles Garrett gonna get traded? Is Cleveland gonna trade him?"
I mean, it felt like a lock that he was getting traded.
I thought
everything looked like, yeah.
I heard the Eagles were gung ho about getting, and I was getting ready. Honestly, once that news broke and I heard the Eagles were interested, I was getting up here ready to say the Eagles won the free agency if they would have got Myles Garrett. I would have came on here and said that. I'm like, Eagles won free agency, but they got the deal done, and now he's getting paid like nearly $40 million a year. And well, it was funny because I heard right before the deal signed, I think the day before, I saw a short of Rich Eisen, and he was like at the combine, he was hearing some things people were talking. And he was like, the Cleveland Browns are not trading Myles Garrett, and I was like, oh, okay. I think Rich Eisen is pretty locked in. I can't hear you. Rich Eisen is pretty locked into the NFL.
Rich. I'm sure you know what's going on, huh, Rich Eisen? What does Rich Eisen know?
And then the next day, he gets signed to this massive-ass contract. So I'm like, well, I guess, yeah, he ain't getting traded. He even got a no-trade clause in his thing. So, yeah, that was just a weird potential story that we were going to watch over the next few weeks, but he's staying in Cleveland. So, I mean, I guess good on him for getting the bag, I guess.
Hey, I
I'm
mean,
just a little.
yeah.
It's just kind of funny. It's just like I want to be traded to a contender. I want to. It's time for me to win. And then Cleveland's like, hey, how about $40 million a year? He's like, you know what? I always love being here in
I
Cleveland.
love this place.
I love it here. So I'm just like, okay.
Ever since I was a little boy, I wanted to play for the Cleveland Browns.
So I thought that was just a little weird. But team wise, how about the Raiders? Made some interesting moves here. I guess the Seahawks. Well, let's look at the Raiders. They traded for Geno Smith, for a third round pick. What do you think about that?
I liked it. I mean, I think, again, it gets them. It gives them a solid bridge quarterback, and they have not had a
Yeah,
solid bridge quarter. Like they had Derek Carr, obviously. Derek Carr was a borderline franchise quarterback, a guy that you kind of are okay with. And they got rid of him, and they stepped into the quarterback carousel machine, and you learn quick. Like you have a middle of the pack quarterback, and you're like, I hate this guy, and then you get rid of that middle of the pack quarterback, and your team is one of the 8 teams that are perpetually looking for a guy, and it sucks.
it's really crazy, like how much you can spiral when you don't have that guy. Like the
It's
dog. I mean,
insane.
we signed Tua, but like I don't think Tua is the long term answer. Like I know we signed him to a big contract or whatever, and Tua's good. But like we still haven't had that guy, and Dan Marino retired in
25
like
years ago.
25 years ago. Like it's just insane, like how long you can spiral. So yeah, like you said, I like this as a bridge quarterback.
And he's proven,
He
and
has
he's got the connection with Pete Carroll.
yeah, that's what I was about to bring
Oh,
up.
my
He has
bad,
a
yeah.
connection with no, you're good. He has a connection with Pete Carroll, so he probably knows that system. Culture guy, Geno Smith. I don't know anybody that's spoken ill of him, so I think he'll be great for the locker room. And with Pete Carroll there, I think just to help him give him a little bit of say. And then them signing Max Crosby,
Yeah, good
3 year,
move.
106.5 million, 9.1, 91.5 million guaranteed. Glad they got that figured out. They needed him. He's their best player on that team. So not expecting big things out of the Raiders, but maybe competitive. And that's really all you want if you're if I'm a Raiders fan going into the season. I just want to be competitive. I don't, we still got the Chiefs, and the Chargers, and potentially the Broncos being a nuisance. So all you're looking for is to be a nuisance to a few of these teams. Maybe get some wins you weren't expected to. Maybe get 6, 7, 8
Which,
wins, which is a huge improvement.
I mean, you're competitive in 10, 11 of your games. You win 7 of them, and you feel like, hey, we're kind of a couple pieces away, one more offseason away, and a good draft away from being like a wild card team. Because it sucks to say, but like you're only ever going to be a wild card team if you're the Raiders, unfortunately, because
Yeah.
of the division that they're in. I mean, if the Chiefs don't miraculously continue to win this division, which they almost certainly will, the Chargers are right there, the Broncos are right there. Like, so it kind of blows. Like for the next decade, you're literally just like competing for the wild card if you're the Raiders, and that one season where, knock on wood, I don't. It sounds bad to say, but you get some injury luck or something where like
Yeah.
the Chiefs are just kind of spiraling one year, and then you're able to compete. Like but you feel like if they can stop the bleeding, get Pete Carroll, get Geno Smith, win 7 games or so this year, it's like you feel like you're going in the right direction as a franchise finally. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I did want to also talk about the Patriots.
Patriots, what have they been up to?
They had an okay offseason. I I liked a lot of their signings, but
Eh,
I,
nothing that's moving me.
I mean, Carlton Davis across from Zach Gonzalez is awesome. I love
Yeah,
that.
he's okay. Yeah, he's not bad.
But I just, to me, it's like, see, this is where like I'm on Yahoo Sports right now, and they gave the Patriots an A minus, and I just
Really?
don't like. I give them a little bit of credit because Mike Vrabel is obviously trying to build a particular type of team. Mike Vrabel
Yeah.
has done this in Tennessee. He's trying to do it here. Like, I respect that and I hear it, but like, you have a quarterback now going into his second year who had nobody to throw to and was constantly running for his life. And you have done nothing to fix that. Nothing significant to fix that. You signed Morgan Moses, which, I mean, Morgan Moses is a good player, but like, he's an older player. He just had a one and done year
34.
with the Jets. Like, you haven't really signed a significant receiver. Mac Hollins is not moving the needle for your receiving
I
room.
I do look. He can make some tough catches. That's all I can say. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Hey,
He can make
hey,
some tough catches
I,
sometimes.
I, I hear that, but like, just if you're
No, no,
if
no.
you're
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
go with their number one as Mac Hollins or number two, even like,
No, 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 no.
I just I mean, it's like they still, well, it's the draft, and if they had gone out and signed a key receiver or a key offensive lineman or two or three key, something like that, and it's like, now we're going into the draft, it's like, great, but now you're going into the draft and it's like, you cannot address your entire offensive line and your entire receiving core in the draft. Like,
Yeah,
and I also get it. It's like, well, it's a multi-step process. Like, they're not trying to
yeah.
be competitive. I don't know. Like, I just would have liked to have seen them try to surround more deliberately their young quarterback with talent, the way the Bears did, where they're like, let's go get offensive linemen and let's protect Caleb Williams and let's set up to run the ball down people's throats. So I wasn't a fan of the Patriots very much. I did want to talk about, who else did I have on my list? Sorry, I closed out the list. I did want to talk about the Seahawks. We talked about the Raiders a little bit. Talk about the Seahawks.
Been gutting their
Their
team.
team is gone. They have no team now.
Released, traded DK to the Steelers. Released what's his name? Receiver
Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett. Traded Geno. Who else is gone?
They signed Sam Darnold though.
Oh yeah. Um. Yeah, 3 year, 137. I mean, I don't hate it. It's kind of like the Baker deal, almost. And I don't know. He won 14 games last year. Like, I know it didn't end well that last game and then the playoff game, but that has to account for something, at least a little bit. So he played well. Now maybe in their system they believe that they can get the same out of him, but I don't know, man, because you traded DK away, then you let Tyler Lockett go, and we're replacing him with Marquez Valdez Scantling. Like, are we getting a receiver in the draft? Like, I
They
just.
do have Jackson Smith and Jigba, who really
Oh yeah,
blossomed
yeah,
last
yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah. True. I forgot about Jackson Smith. So I mean, okay, so Jackson Smith and Jigba, Marquez Valdez Scantling, and maybe some other young guys, and you probably get a receiver in the draft or get one of the ones that fall through the cracks there. I don't know if we're setting up Sam Darnold to be his best, at least what we saw in Minnesota here. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Um, I do think the 49ers did get a bit worse. They let a lot of their players go on
Which
that
was
defensive line.
inevitable.
Yeah, they had to gut their team. They had to
Yeah.
trade Debo. So I think they got worse. I don't know if the Rams.
They signed Devontae Adams.
They did sign Devontae Adams. Stafford is not. It feels like they've come to agreement, but no numbers have been said. So I don't know. I'm still a little. I don't know about the Rams. I don't know if I like that move, keeping Stafford, but I mean, it is what it is. They were, they were the closest team to play the Eagles in the playoffs. Tough.
They did. I mean, yeah. The
I
Eagles
do
just
give them
thumped
that.
everybody else, and the Rams were 15 yards away from beating them.
So I do give them that. But I don't know. They just let Cooper Cup go. They need to invest in their offensive line, and their defensive line. So, um, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, I'm a little, I'm iffy on the Sam Darnold thing. I do like that they got him on pretty decent money, but yeah, I'm not sure how this experiment's gonna go. I don't know how the Sam Darnold experience is gonna go.
I mean, I like it. Like, I
I don't
just
hate the money. Money wise, I do not hate it.
no. I think I just people are so like I've heard a lot of people be like super passionate about like almost so just sure. Well, clearly Geno Smith is better than Sam Darnold. Like they clearly got worse at and I'm like, I mean, look,
About this,
I mean that's how I feel. Like I'm not
honestly,
like I like Geno Smith, and I'm willing to maybe concede that Geno Smith is a little better than Sam
yeah,
Darnold. But
slightly
like
better.
I'm
Yeah,
not. I'm not gonna sit here and act like this team just got substantially worse at quarterback.
yeah.
Like
This
they
kind of
they
made a lot. This is a lateral move to me.
they got younger, more
They
athletic,
did get.
and cheaper at quarterback, and all it cost them basically was a third round. And I think they got a third rounder out of it because they traded Geno. So like they got a third round pick back, and all it cost them was going from what a slightly above B minus to maybe a B minus C plus quarterback, younger, cheaper. I mean, you know, trading away all your receivers, like I would have liked them to have kept DK in some capacity. Tyler Lockett, I feel like he was a little past his prime, and it was probably time
Yeah,
to move off of him. But they have the draft; they can probably draft a player. They made some defense. I like the Jaron Reed signing. Probably overpaid him a little bit, but that is what it is.
that's free agency, baby.
DeMarcus Lawrence
Yeah,
signed
I saw
him.
that. I didn't know y'all released the Marcus Lawrence.
Yeah, so I don't hate that. Like Demarcus Lawrence is solid. He's a solid player. Their defensive line is going to be good. Their defense is still
And they're
good.
trying to rebuild. Like they got
They're
a new head coach.
retooling a little
Okay.
bit is how I would describe it. But yeah, they're really trying to get past this 9-win hump that they have just been on
Yeah.
perpetually since even before, but since Pete Carroll was there even. And we'll see if they do. But I don't hate. I liked it honestly. Like I understand when they did it. Everybody's like, "What are they doing? Why are they just getting rid of their quarterback? Like, what is their plan?" But then they signed Sam Darnold, and it's like, "Oh, okay, it worked out for them." But like Mina Kimes was when that trade happened originally. She was like, "Terrible trade. I don't know what they're doing." But then they signed Sam Darnold. I want to talk about the Steelers. Speaking of DK Metcalf,
Yeah.
they've made some cool moves,
We,
and
we get to see DK Metcalf and George Pickens on the same field.
I think they're gonna
They're
trade
gonna trade G. That's
George
that.
Pickens.
That's what everybody. I'm hearing everybody say. I mean, it's less of a headache.
I saw a
Like DK. I
meme.
mean, DK will be a headache, but at least you don't have two of them. You won't have two of them.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it's like the Steelers are gonna have 100 yards worth of unsportsmanlike conduct penalties this upcoming year. Like, no, but I mean, they signed Pickens. Oh, dang, you go.
Yeah. So DK, they traded for him. Let me find this. AFC North. Let me see what all they did. Okay, yeah, traded for DK. Then they signed him for a year, $132 million extension. Uh,
Yeah,
did okay there. They did get They added Darius Slay
which I
for
dig.
one
I mean,
year.
I
I
dig
mean,
that
yeah.
depth piece at corner.
Got a tight end and Kenneth Gainwell, running back wise. Just who's their quarterback, man? They
Aaron
let Justin Fields
Rodgers.
go. I mean, I think that's the general consensus because I think Russell Wilson's is supposed to be having a meeting with Cleveland today or tomorrow. So I think it will be, which I don't hate that, I guess, but at the same time, what are we doing? Mike Tomlin, we're just gonna get another 9-8, 10-7 season, and then get kicked out first round. This is what we're doing here. The same old, same old. Steelers, regular season. This is what we're going again. Just doing this again.
I mean, I think so. Like, that's what you're getting if you get Aaron Rodgers, but
That's just. I think they need to come to agreement. If they don't, if we go down this road another, like, how long has it been since they have won a playoff game? Like, I know Miami, we've been
2017.
we've been in a drought, but this is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, the Pittsburgh Steelers are a historic franchise. They haven't, like, I know Miami's kind of historic, but, like, we've been, like, this is the Steelers. Like, I just feel like, come on, they haven't won a playoff
Super Bowls.
Won 6 Super Bowls, man. Like,
they
this is unacceptable.
It's been 15 years now since they've been in a Super Bowl, and
it's unacceptable.
And yeah, I mean, it's been almost a decade since they won a playoff game. I mean, people talk about the Cowboys, and the Cowboys are in a drought. Like, I'm not trying to.
No, yeah,
I'm not trying to.
My team's
like, but the Cowboys have won playoff games recently. The Cowboys, since the Steelers last won a playoff game, I think they've won 2 or 3 of them. Like, which is not amazing. It's kind of sad, but it's still like, at least we're winning sometimes.
I think Mike Tomlin. I think they just need to part ways. If we sit here, we're here again, and they make the playoffs and their first round exit once again. You got to part ways. Like, you got to get a different voice, you gotta bite the bullet, and you gotta. I know NFL teams don't tank, but you gotta do something. You gotta find one of these dudes, man, because Ben Roethlisberger is not coming. Like, he's gone.
You're gonna have to trade
retired. Up. Gonna have to trade up, and you gonna have to figure something out, because you can't keep doing this.
You're gonna have to identify a guy that you really, really like, and you're gonna have to trade up from your 16th or 17th pick in the draft, and you're gonna have to go get him at like
maybe not this draft. Not this draft, but
say you love Shador.
If you love Shador and you think you have the right coaches for this situation, send the fucking house. Send it. If you think that is your guy, and you think you can, you take that swing. And if you're wrong, hey, it is what it is. Believe you took a swing, and you try again. And you keep trying until you find your guy. On the end of Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he's a little bit of a culture killer. I mean, I just think the Steelers, they're just too. Mike Tomlin, what they have there is just too dominant. I think it's just gonna
the culture.
Yeah, like he's not gonna ruin what the Steelers have. Now, will he make a snide comment here and there? Yeah, it's just what he does, but I don't think that's gonna ruin the team or cause a fracture in the locker room.
Mike Tomlin's gonna come out and say something right back to him, like Mike Tomlin, like it would be good for Aaron Rodgers to go there, because the problem with Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets was Aaron Rodgers was allowed to go in there and be in charge of everything.
Yeah,
this team had no culture. It had a coach that had no cachet, and he was able to just run roughshod and be an asshole. And all the Jets could do, because they have a poor culture and it's Aaron Rodgers and Robert Saleh's like fighting for his job, they just kind of have to be like, okay, well, Aaron Rodgers is going to say things that are kind of shitty. But, dude, the second he does that shit in Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin's going to be like, I'm sorry, leave?
Get out?
Get out? I don't care about you. I don't need you. Like, I'm gonna find a way to win 9 games one way or another. I don't care if I gotta start this guy named Duck. Like, I don't care. So, speaking of the Steelers and Justin Fields, want to hit on him really quick. He went to the Jets. So, if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Steelers, it'd almost be like they traded quarterbacks, which would be kind of funny. But yeah, what do you think about the Jets signing Justin Fields?
I mean, what was it, 2 years, $40 million?
Yeah,
that's very good. I think it's almost like a 1-year deal. I bet there's like a player option for that second year. So, I mean, I think it's kind of his last stop to be a starter in this league. So, I mean, we all know what he can do on the ground, but we got to see it, with your arm, dude. So they do have what's his name, the receiver there. That's pretty good.
Oh, Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson. They got Garrett Wilson. The running backs, I can't think of their names right now, but
Brees Hall.
Brees Hall, and then that guy they drafted, which I think they like. So yeah, I mean, I think they'll be trying to build around him here. What else did they make? Okay, they brought in a tackle and a center, linebacker and a cornerback and two safeties. So, trying to build up that offensive line. Um, yeah, so I don't hate this move. So hopefully, oh wow, 30 fully guaranteed too. Okay. Um, yeah, I don't hate this move. I think the Jets are trying to move forward and trying to get this guy that I think is okay. Try to build around him and hopefully see what he does. Like I said, they didn't sign him to a big contract. This is practically a 1 year deal. But if he plays very well, then he could play his way into a second contract. But yeah, I
For sure.
don't hate this move for the Jets.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
agree.
they're not winning this division. It's still the Bills' division. So uh, just trying to be competitive and maybe hopefully find a diamond in the rough there.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Fields, he's got the physical capabilities. You just gotta see if you can develop him into a real passer in that way. But I mean, I think just it's obvious. Like, this isn't a hot take or anything. I think Aaron Glenn is so clearly like, I'm trying to build the culture. Like, and
Yeah.
it's kind of funny to see how the NFL's like replicating in other areas, right? Because you see teams like the Patriots, which I know Mike Vrabel hasn't coached for them yet, but we know what Mike Vrabel is. You see what the Texans did with D'Amico Ryans. You see what the Lions did with Dan Campbell, where these teams will go out and they're almost like hiring former players who now have great coaching experience, and
Mhm.
they're like letting them build their culture back up and coming in with that repertoire. And the Jets did that exact same thing with Aaron Glenn. They signed Aaron Glenn, who was drafted by them, has great experience coaching with, obviously with the Lions, and he coached with the Saints for a while before that. Followed Dan Campbell to the Lions when he got hired. Um, I think it's an interesting kind of way that just replicates itself, but also I think he's gonna.
Copycat league.
Yeah, it is, and he's also. I think he's gonna try to do exactly what Dan Campbell did, where he's gonna he was there with Dan Campbell the whole time. He's gonna follow the Dan Campbell guidebook and be like, "Hey, this is what Dan Campbell did. This is how he did it. This is what he did." And it took Dan Campbell a couple years. I mean, we were halfway through, I think, his second year as a coach, and we were like, "This dude's getting fired. The Lions are going in the wrong direction. He's getting fired." And then he turned it around in the second half of the year. They missed the playoffs by a hair. And then the following year, he obviously went to the NFC Championship. And then this year, they were a dominant team. So I think that's really what his focus is. And I think
Yeah.
Justin Fields is, they went and got Jared Goff, and everybody went, well, Jared Goff's career's over. Like, that sucks. Sorry, Jared, you're going to Detroit now. That blows. That you just got dumped on the Lions, and his career has done nothing but flourish. So you never know. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's incumbent on him to make that offensive coordinator signing, though, which I don't remember who their offensive coordinator is, but you just have to hope that it pans out.
Is it Kubiak?
No, Clint Kubiak's for the Seahawks, which I
Seahawks.
actually really like that as a pairing with Sam Darnold, because he's just going to run the Shanahan system. Sam Darnold's been in the Shanahan system already. He's got a skill set that helps him in the Shanahan system. So I think that's actually a really good pairing in Seattle there. But yeah, before we wrap up the team section, I know we're going to talk about some players too. I had three more teams I wanted to talk about.
Hmm.
One, a winner, in my opinion. We'll talk about them first. The Commanders.
Yeah, really going for it.
Love what the Commanders have done.
Tanner Eakstrom is their offensive coordinator.
Signed Debo Samuel. Traded for Debo Samuel. I love that paired with Terry McLaurin on the other side. I think that's
older
a
receiver, but maybe it was time for him to get out of San Fran. Maybe he is. I like Terry McLaurin, but he comes in with like a veteran presence there. So don't hate that for either trying to go for it here. Rookie quarterback and all that stuff. So yeah, they're making solid moves. God
yeah.
damn.
And Debo, this is something I heard John Middlecoff say, which so their GM, um, in Washington, he came from the 49ers.
Oh, that's why they went and got Javon
And
Kinlaw
and so he's
and
got a
Debo.
history with Debo Samuel. Like he was there when he was there. He's been there with Debo for years. He knows Debo in and out. So and also God, what is his name? What is his name? The offensive coordinator. Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury. He uses gadget players, and Debo Samuel's kind of a gadget player. So
I
uh,
don't, I don't know how much they're gonna be using him for that. He's a little older.
you
The
use them in
injury risk.
pinches, you use them in moments,
Yeah,
but you got to pick your moments. But the question is, can he stay healthy? But like they got him for a fifth rounder. They got
yeah.
they have so much money. They're not paying a quarterback. Like this is exactly the kind of move a team like them should be making right now. They went and got Laramie Tunsil, which I loved. Javon
Yeah.
Kinlaw is a solid signing. Re-signed Bobby Wagner, which I like. Continue that veteran presence. Bobby Wagner's still a solid player, albeit very old at this point. But
Did he make the Pro Bowl last year?
I
I
don't
know
know.
that doesn't mean much, but
But I really did. I like what the Commanders have been doing. They've been just going for it.
Zach Ertz around.
They
Okay.
are a team that understands where they are at,
Yeah.
and they need to take advantage of the moment, and they're doing it. And
Just
it's
don't
just
get this. Just don't get into bad contracts, which I think they're doing pretty solid contract wise.
no, I agree, and it's also so prescient because you're in that same division with the Eagles,
Yeah.
who the Eagles have had a tough. They were gonna have a toughish offseason. Like they signed Zach Bond. They re-signed Saquon Barkley. They brought in AJ Dillon, but they've lost a couple players. Obviously, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
They traded him.
Yeah, they traded. They're probably gonna lose AJ Brown. Like if the rumors are true, they're gonna trade AJ Brown away. So,
That kind of doesn't make sense.
well, it's because they don't want to pay him.
Yeah. And then he's also been unhappy and all that
Yeah,
stuff. So.
yeah. I mean, you don't really like Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith can be a number one.
Yeah.
And go bring in somebody else. So
I feel like they do. They're doing the Eagles. I trust Harry Roseman. Like I feel like they've been doing. They do pretty well for themselves.
I guess just really quick, some other highlights just before we get to the final two teams I wanted to talk about. Evan Ingram to the Broncos is interesting. That's pretty cool. They also got they got Dre Greenlaw, which is cool. They got Talanoa Hufanga, which I saw that happen, and I was like, oh, that's a good signing. Go get Hufanga. That's cool. The Chiefs, Jalen Moore, Trey Smith. They re-signed Trey Smith. They re-signed Marquise Brown. They went and got Elijah Mitchell. Re-signed Nick Bolton, which is clutch.
Yeah.
Because you do not want to lose Nick Bolton. We'll see what the hell's going on with Xavier Worthy. Yeah.
Oh, I've heard they dropped the charges.
Oh, okay.
I hear. I think I saw something about it. It wasn't as what we initially thought it was.
I mean, it came across the wire as felony domestic violence charges, which is like, holy moly, that's. But I'd heard that he wasn't charged, but I didn't have any like follow up, and I don't know what that still means for the NFL code of conduct. Even if you're not charged, they still might suspend you sometimes. Rashid Rice is still dealing with that potential suspension as well. He's coming off an injury, so the Chiefs got a lot of questions. Their offensive line is still questionable, but they're having an okay. I mean, when you're the Chiefs and you have as much money tied up as they do, and you're picking at the end of the draft every year, like. You kind of just have to work around the edges.
Yeah.
So, and they're doing that. All right, two more teams. One, and these two teams have just flunked free agency, in my opinion. First one, Bengals. Bengals have had a bad free agency.
What are the Bengals doing?
They're re-signed. They brought back in Samaje Perine, which I love Samaje Perine. I like Samaje Perine. T. Higgins got the franchise tag.
Which, yeah, I don't know what we're doing here.
Overpaid Mike Gesicki. I don't care what they say. That dude got overpaid.
Not terrible. Well, 3 years, 25.5, 12 million in 1 year, first year.
Bless you.
I like Mike. I wish he was. Yeah,
I like some of the Mike Gesicki songs, but
that's fair. That's
fair. But of course, the two big things about the Bengals that are yet to be worked out are
DC.
They fired, which I like the guy they replaced him with. I just don't think he was the problem.
Yeah.
Their two problems are when you sign a Jamar Chase, and what are you going to do about Trey Hendrickson? Because the amount of money you need to pay Trey Hendrickson just went up because of Myles Garrett. Trey Hendrickson's like, it's like, well, you're not as good as Myles Garrett. It's like, I'm sorry, I led the league in sacks last year. So
even though we were a bad defense, I was still your best player.
And that's the other thing too, is it's like you're gonna lose Trey Hendrickson when your defense is already bad. Like, what do you do there? And then of course they've already come out and said Jamar Chase is gonna be the highest paid non-quarterback. So it's like, how are you gonna?
So
you can't
and
do
then
it.
Why are we franchise tagging T. Higgins? You can't have both. Now I kind of agree with what Dick Wright said. I'd maybe trade Jamar.
I don't hate trading Jamar, but
trade Jamar because you get more value. You're definitely getting a first rounder.
You're getting two first rounds for Jamar.
Yeah, you're getting you should at least get 2 first rounders for Jamar.
Arms race that is the AFC. You will get a first rounder for that.
You sign T. Higgins, going to be a lot cheaper than Jamar, and then you use the money and sign Trey Hendrickson. I mean, it is still open. They're allowing him to see what his market is, so he's not signed yet. They could still get him back, but yeah, I do not like what the Bengals are doing, but I don't agree with this franchise tag on T. Higgins. I say you trade him. You trade at least one of them.
You got to make your decision. You can't keep both.
You should not keep both. I agree with that. You either sign T. Higgins and trade Jamar, which I don't think they will, or you sign Jamar and you trade T, which I think they should. They did bring quite a bit of defensive line help in, some edge, some defensive line, linebackers, corners, all that, and brought in a lineman. But you're not like what the Bengals are doing as well. They need to focus on getting that defense right.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a personnel issue on that defensive side of the ball, and they have so many problems right now, and so many questions.
Stop starting the season 1-5 or 1-4 or whatever. Stop starting the season like that.
That'll help.
That would help
because they were like they started it slow this past year, and I mean they've
been starting.
They were like 500 the rest of the way. They could never catch back up to their loss record. And it was just every week it was like, man, we're still like 2 games in the hole. And it's like, yeah, well, that's what happens when you lose to the Patriots in week 1. And the other team I wanted to talk about was my Cowboys.
Well, this is just, y'all cheap. Y'all aren't the Bengals.
That's what it is.
Y'all are just
now, which we shouldn't be.
Y'all don't operate like a cheap, like the Bengals have been famously cheap.
But it's because they don't have money. They had to sell the naming rights of their stadium to pay Joe Burrow. They don't have money. We have money. Like this is like those stories about Elon Musk's ex-wife all those years ago when she came out and she's like, yeah, he didn't want to buy groceries because he didn't want to spend money, and like we're eating peanut butter for like 2 weeks. And it's like that's the Cowboys. It's like, why are we doing this? We have money. We're the most valuable sports franchise in the world.
Y'all do need to sign Micah, though.
We do need to sign Micah. We already got CD, but we
Yeah,
gave Dak all that money. But like,
we did get Dak
it's
all
it's
that
so
money
dumb
too.
because like it's just so unfortunate because Dak, we way overpaid Dak, and now like I heard Colin Cowherd say like, oh, you're gonna have Micah, CD, and Dak all under contract, and two of those guys aren't even top five at their position. CD Lamb, the only one. I'm like, Micah Parsons is top five at his position, my friend. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you you draft the way you do so you can draft players like Micah Parsons and CD Lamb and sign them to big contracts. You don't sign Dak to this big contract though, and they're gonna just be in the hole from that for years, because they're just. I mean, Josh Allen got $56 million. He got 250 million guaranteed. Like it was a lot of money,
Yeah,
but
yeah, babe.
but it's just they've really put themselves in a hole. They got Javonte Williams. We lost Rico Dowdle. Lost him. He gone.
Damn.
But I mean, we re-signed Osio Digazua. We lost DeMarcus Lawrence. Signed Solomon Thomas, which isn't bad. I'm not a huge fan of the Kyer Elam signing or trade. CJ Goodwin's fine. Marquise Bell's decent. He's fine, but I don't know what we're going to do in the draft. We need a lot of help on our front seven and our linebacker room. We need some more help on our offensive line. We definitely need help in our receiver room and our running back room. So I don't want to say the Cowboys have had a bad offseason because their hands are tied, and it's like they couldn't have a good offseason because it's either like you don't sign anybody and you sign Micah Parsons and everybody goes, huh, look at the Cowboys not signing anybody. Or you let Micah Parsons go so you can sign a bunch of people, and everybody goes, why are you trading Micah Parsons? He's your best player. And you're just like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. So, but it's tough. They're in a division now with the two teams that were in the NFC Championship last year.
They're getting an easier schedule. Third place schedule this year.
Yeah, I mean, this team to me, like, we'll see how their draft goes. I'm curious how they finagle and move and what they do because that's really where they build their team. The Cowboys have always built their team through the draft, and they draft really well. But I mean, I'm saying the ceiling for this team, very well maybe 9 games. And again, that's the ceiling.
I think 10.
9, I mean 10, but like as a ceiling, 10 wins. Like last year, their ceiling was like they're gonna probably win 10. Their ceiling, as always, is 12 wins because they seem to win 12 games every year. Their ceiling now is 10. Like they're getting worse, and it's sad.
That's what happens when you play quarterback, big money.
Man, all right. Any other teams you want to talk about?
Not in particular.
All right.
Nobody else really. Nothing really jumps out at me.
I had a couple more players I wanted to talk about. Just highlight.
You mean Garoppolo still in the league?
Garoppolo signed back to the Rams. That's exactly the team I was going to talk about. Devontae Adams to the Rams. We talked about the Rams a little bit already, but
so I guess Aaron ain't following him to the Rams.
I'm calling it, dude. Look, I'm not declaring it.
Oh, we're not going to declare it.
But I'm going to say this. Right now, Rams are my early Super Bowl pick out of the NFC.
Man, here we go again.
He's
falling in love with the Rams.
Hey, I've been right about the Rams. I had them in the conference championship last year. They were 15 yards away from it. I had them missing the playoffs the year after they won the Super. I had them in the Super Bowl the year they went to the Super Bowl.
The Rams. I don't get the Rams. Matthew Stafford's getting older. I think they should start moving on from him. But like again, they were the only team that played the Eagles tough in the playoffs. So like you can't move off of that so quickly. But He's a year older,
He's injury prone.
injury prone. I do like the Devonte Adams thing to help him get that uh to pair with Puka Nakua. I do like that. We'll see what they do in the draft.
Love their
They
defense.
re-signed a yeah. Their defense is getting better. Jared Verse it will be on his in his second year, going to get better. They'll and the Rams I think do very well. I mean they were doing so well drafting in the late rounds. Now that they have their first round picks again and stuff and bluff like that, I think they do very good with their scouting department. So I think they'll be very competitive. I don't know. I just every time I come into the season with the Rams, and I'm just like, this team ain't gonna be that good, and then I'm
And they
proven
never,
right.
well, they never feel good. They're like, yeah, the Rams aren't even that good. And then it's like, why are the Rams in the playoffs? And
It's
they're like,
like,
why are the Rams winning a playoff game?
yeah, and it's just,
Why are they about to beat the Eagles on the? Okay, they lost. Okay, well, I guess good season. Good season, LA. I didn't expect that.
yeah, like that's literally how how I that's my relationship with the Rams. I'm like, this team ain't that good, and then they
And then
lose,
they're
they
not, and
win,
then they're in the playoffs because
yeah.
they win their last 4 games or something, and you're
And you're
like,
just like, all
how'd y'all
right.
beat Buffalo? What'd y'all what?
It's literally
Uh,
what I think of the Rams every year.
some other key people to talk about that we haven't hit on. Talked about Russell Wilson. We'll see where he lands. You talked about him a little bit.
Maybe going to Cleveland.
Danny Dimes to the Colts.
Yeah, like I said,
Terrible.
I don't know what the Colts
Awful.
are doing. Like, okay, we're gonna create a QB competition with Anthony Richardson, and then you bring in Daniel Jones. What?
They're either saying we. It's that thing where, like, for some reason, football people really seem to like Daniel Jones. Like, Greg Jennings loves Daniel Jones. John Gruden loves Daniel, and everybody watching
I
is like,
mean,
what do y'all like about this guy? He's
maybe
not
he
good.
can have a resurgence. I don't know. He does have Jonathan Taylor still. Maybe their offensive line is
He's got Shane
okay.
Steichen as his coach now,
I
which,
stay
but
like,
I mean,
hey,
Brian Dable was his coach in New York. Like, if Brian Dable can't get it out of him, like, what are we doing?
we'll see.
Um, yeah, and then Joey Bosa to
Bills.
the Bills. That was a cool signing. Josh Allen, as we've
Okay.
hit a few times, got signed.
I mean, I know 49ers fans are a little sad about it, but I mean, it's really sad. He kind of injuries have really robbed him of a really great career because he was really good coming when he first got there, and he was a real threat for the Chargers. And was it like 7 sacks in his past 2 seasons or something like that?
I thought he had a decent year this past year. I can't remember,
Oh, I think it was okay.
but yeah, I mean they basically the Chargers had the option. It's like, do you want to sign Khalil Mack or Joey Bosa? And they picked Khalil Mack and said, Joey, thanks for everything you did for us. So, um, yeah, yeah, that's interesting. The Ravens are the other team, I guess. The other couple signings, they re-signed Ronnie Stanley, which I'm
That
happy
was
about that.
good.
Always
They
good signing a offensive lineman you drafted, and then
uh,
they brought D Hop in.
he played 14 games and he had 5 sacks. And
Oh, yeah,
then
yeah, okay, never
in
mind.
2023, he had 6.5. Dang. Oh, in 2022, he only played 5 games. He had 2.5. He only played 9 in 2023. He only had 6.5. So,
And that's
oh,
really
11
it.
and a half. So, almost 12 sacks in 2 years. Yeah, that's not good.
That is it, though. We are
Yeah,
done.
he had 10.5 in his first year. Dang.
Yeah, well, it was funny because if you remember, this is way back in 2016. He was
Yeah.
the one guy that was holding out on his rookie contract,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then he
I do
comes in
remember.
and is awesome. Everybody's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I guess he was right to play chicken with him and be like, no, I earned more than this. I deserve more than this. So that was kind of funny, but yeah, we'll have to figure out some content for next week now that free agency's over. Um,
You say the Cowboys will sign somebody later in the later. We still got the draft coming up.
the draft
We'll
is
still be
April 24th.
we'll see what any teams gonna be moving up for the first pick in the draft. It's gonna be interesting to see.
So we have basically let's see, what's the one, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 weeks until the draft, so we'll let y'all know what's going on. We'll try to come back to y'all with some content. Maybe we'll talk about kind of a recap of the team seasons and kind of where we think they stand. Do some draft previews. Give some top 10 lists, those are fun to do, the evergreen content where it's just like, give me your top 10 receivers of all time or something, or top 10 receivers in the NFL. And that's some fun stuff. So we'll holler back at y'all, but I'm
Justin
good to call
Jefferson,
it here, Christian, unless you...
Justin Jefferson.
Not bad list. Not bad list, honestly. Justin Jefferson. Yeah, Justin Jefferson. Yeah, I have to think about the rest of the list, but Justin Jefferson is an easy one. So,
yeah.
Unless you ask Lions fans, they think Amon-Ra St. Brown is number one.
Amon-Ra St. Brown might be...
He's on the list somewhere, but
maybe 10. I don't know. He might be top 10. I'm not sure.
I remember after the year before last, Lions fans were like, Amon-Ra St. Brown was just as good as Justin Jefferson. He's actually better than Justin Jefferson, and everybody went, stop. Please. No shot. If you could have Justin Jefferson or Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Justin Jefferson can get him any quarterback, and that man could wake up and catch over 100 balls, have 13 to 1,500 yards, and have at least 5 to 10 touchdowns in a season. He just rolls out of bed and just gets that.
We talk about system players a lot, and I have that
Justin Jefferson is the fucking system.
I have that very strong belief that's like 98+% of players to ever play football are system players.
Yeah,
and like the handful, like Barry Sanders, Lawrence Taylor, Deion Sanders, like those are players that they're going to be good no matter where they're at.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson is one of those players.
Would make every team he joins a lot better.
He's one of one. He's still got a little bit of a career left to do, but at this pace, like he is going to go down as one of the greatest receivers ever. So
I know they'll do receivers dirty in the Hall of Fame, but if
not just Jefferson, he's on right to be a first ballot Hall of Famer at this pace.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Dude,
he's got to keep it up.
Reggie Wayne isn't in the Hall of Fame.
Reggie Wayne was not a first. Reggie Wayne's a
really?
great Hall. Reggie Wayne was not. Reggie Wayne was not Justin Jefferson.
Oh,
no. Reggie Wayne was awesome. Reggie Wayne was a top 5
Randy
receiver.
Moss have to wait?
Randy Moss was first ballot, and rightfully so. He should have been a first ballot. Randy Moss is one of the 3 greatest receivers to ever play the game. They made T.O. wait a year, which was dirty. T.O. should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer because T.O. is the other player that's in the top 3. In my opinion, the top 3 receivers ever are Jerry, Julio, or Julio's somewhere on the list, but no, Jerry, Randy, and T.O.
Injuries really ruined Julio's career.
He's still a Hall of Famer though. Calvin Johnson might be a top 5 receiver all time.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
I think he was a first ballot too. Which yeah,
I don't know. I guess that's crazy.
So the all-timers get first ballot, and Justin Jefferson is, in my opinion, on pace to be that. So anyway, all right. Well, we'll holler back at y'all with our lists, I guess, next week or something. But until then, have a great week, everybody. We love you. Enjoy life without football, I guess. Go watch Severance. Go watch some movies or something. The Oscars just happened. I got to catch up on my Oscar movies.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen quite a bit of them.
Yeah,
I heard Conclave is good. Yeah, Nora won. I've heard good things. I wanted to go see Nora too in theaters. I just never did. Conclave, I heard was pretty good. The one with, was it A Real Pain? I thought about going and seeing that, but I was like, nah. But I heard it was really good. The one with Kieran Culkin and Jesse Eisenberg. I heard that was really good. I enjoyed The Substance.
I haven't seen The Substance, but I've heard it's really good.
I enjoyed The Substance. I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
All right, bet. I'm sure it's on our list. I'm trying to get Cassandra to watch Amelia Perez. She does not want to. And to be honest, I
don't think I want to watch Amelia Perez.
To be honest, I don't want to.
It's weird. I don't know how it was nominated, but like
nobody likes it.
This sucks.
Well, it's because when you go to all the critics loved it. All the critics loved it, and nobody else liked it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm talking to people in the office, which I'm like, anybody seen Amelia Perez? They're like, no, and I don't want to. I'm like,
Yeah.
dang.
Dude, then I think and Mickey 17 is kind of like it's getting reviewed very, very well, but it is bombing in the box office. I think it made like 18, 19 million,
Really?
and it was like 100. It's like a lot. It was like a very expensive movie.
It's it's got a C rating from both critics and and the audience. So
Okay, it was like at a 70. I think at one point, maybe the early reviews, it was like a 78% Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. But yeah, I mean, as the time goes, look, it's bombing.
damn, dang, that sucks.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts about. It's good, but it's just not. It's not as good as Parasite. And I don't know.
Nothing.
I was a little disappointed in it. I may have went into it with too high expectations for it.
Well, I think everybody is because they're like, the guy that made Parasite made this? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, this
Can't
guy
wait for
made.
this.
I'm like, yeah,
Can't
dude.
wait for this because I love Parasite. I just created a Letterboxd account, actually.
I have a little. I actually need to go add Mickey 17 to my Parasite.
Can you be friends on Letterboxd?
We should.
You should follow me on Letterboxd. I'm Jake T. Norman on Letterboxd if anybody wants to come follow me.
Yeah.
I
Actually, I need to go put Mickey 17 on my watch.
Have you seen Saltburn?
Yes.
I hate that movie.
Yeah,
I hate that movie.
It was a little overrated. Everybody was like, "Oh my god, this is so shocking." I'm like, guys, this is
Look, I don't mean to offend people but I'm gonna probably offend some people by saying this. I'm sorry. It sounds mean, but Saltburn is the movie you see and you think is like deep and good if you haven't seen actual movies that are deep and good. Like, and we've been talking about Parasite. It's a shittier version of Parasite. That's all it is. That's all it is. So, yeah, I hated Saltburn. I thought that movie was stupid. The ending made no sense when he's just like getting away with killing all these people, and they're just like the cops just never went looking for him. It's like, all right, I bet. Have you seen Yellow Jackets?
No.
Do not watch that show.
Yeah, I like it.
I hate that show.
Damn.
It is. Look, this is what I've said. So Saltburn, I gave Salt. So the way I do my movies, we're like way off topic here, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The way I do my movies is I rate movies on a scale of 1 to 10. 5 is average.
Yeah.
Which freaks people out for some reason because they think about it like in school, where it's like if you give something a 7, you're giving it a C, and it's like, no, a 7's a really good score.
No, 7, yeah.
A 7's a good movie.
I'm starting to do like a movie review thing at work and my thing, and I think I gave it a 6.7.
So it's an above average movie.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. See, so I gave Saltburn a 4. So Saltburn is not a bad movie. It's a below average movie. 5 is average. 4 is like below average.
Yeah.
So I don't think Saltburn's like a bad movie. I think it was so overhyped that like it was like actually a below average movie, and that makes me be like, I hate this movie because of the expectation gap. But in reality, it's not like a bad movie. It's just not a good movie. Yellow Jackets is a genuinely terrible show. It's a genuinely bad show. It does nothing well.
All right.
Does nothing.
I gave Mickey 17 a 3.
Yeah, okay, that's a 6 out of 10. Yeah. Yeah, no, Yellow Jacket's a genuinely bad show. I was talking to Charlie about it, and Charlie's like, yeah, I was wanting to watch it, and I was like, don't watch it. I was like, it's a bad show. And he's like, oh, okay, I appreciate you telling me that. And then he went and watched it and was like, this is a bad show. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I told you it was. It's a bad show. If you ever watch it, I do a whole rant on it. I got a whole rant I do on this show.
Oh, wow, I gave Companion a 4. I did like Companion. I did like that movie.
I can't pull up my letterboxes on my phone, and I'm using my phone right now.
Oh, let me give Parasite 4 or 5. Yeah, I'm gonna give 5. It's up there.
I only give something. So 5 for me is a 10, right? Because 5 out of 5 is 10 out of 10. I only
At
give
least
some.
a 4.5. I give it 4.5. I did.
I only give something a 10 out of 10 if like immediately I'm like, yeah, yeah, that's a clear number one. I did give Parasite a 10 out of 10. Parasite's a 10 out of 10 movie in my opinion.
I gave it 4.5. I need to watch it. I was watching it again at work. At one point, I gave it 4.5.
Have you ever seen Anatomy of a Fall?
Is that the one with I've heard of that. Is that with No, I'm thinking of the leftovers or the holdovers.
The Holdovers? The Holdovers I was a little disappointed in.
No.
Yeah, everybody I know loved that movie. Like my dad's like, oh, that's a great movie. Cassandra and I were both like, I mean, what? Like I gave it like a 7 out of 10. Like it was a good movie, but like I was like, I expected like a 9 out of 10 movie, and it was like a 7, and I was like, all right, but it wasn't bad. Let's see. Yeah, Mickey 17. Everybody giving it 4s. It's pretty good.
I gave it a 3. I put a liked, but I gave it a 3.
Have you seen Challenges?
No, but fuck, what's his name? Pedro's homie, not Garrett. What's it? God, I don't like him too. Jason, yeah. Jason swears by that movie. It's really good.
It's
he loves that movie.
It's a good time. It's fun. It's a fun movie, but it's not a. I gave it a 6 out of 10. It's a decent movie, but it's not like. It's a fun movie. The music is crazy. The ending is stupid. Like, don't go in there expecting like a great enthralling storyline. It's just a good time. That's what I will say about that movie.
I guess Dune 2. Yeah, I did enjoy Dune 2. I put Dune 2 4.5.
I gave Anatomy of a Fall 10 out of 10. Have you seen Nosferatu?
Oh, that's what I need to add. Yes.
What'd you think of Nosferatu?
I enjoyed it.
I did too. I gave it 8 out of 10.
It was freakier than what I thought it was going to be.
I gave it 8 out of 10. It was a good.
Yeah.
Have you seen Wicked?
I did go see Wicked.
What'd you think of Wicked?
It
Really?
was okay. Like,
damn.
It was fine.
I loved Wicked.
Really?
I gave it a 9 out of 10. I loved it.
Really?
Oh, dude. I went. I saw it twice in the theaters.
You saw that movie twice?
Well, I saw it with Cassandra, and then I was at my. Oh.
I went with people that had already seen it.
My mom and sister and brother and stepdad wanted to see it, and so Cassandra and I were like, guess we're going to see Wicked again. So I saw it twice in the theaters, but I loved it. No, man, that's crazy. I love that.
I get it's a musical, I guess.
I like musicals. So
okay, I just didn't believe that they were friends. I didn't believe that. They just kind of rush through that. Like they do the prom scene, and she cries or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, I feel I'm a bitch" or whatever, and like, I mean, yeah, no, she was a bitch. Not Elphaba. Galinda. And then they were like, "We're best friends," and I'm like, "No, you're not. No, you're not. Come with me to go see the wizard." Why? Why? I don't. Bitch has been meeting you this entire movie. Like, go see the wizard with me. It's like,
see, I like musicals. I'm trying to go see Hamilton is here in Houston right now, and I'm trying to go see Hamilton.
I do. I want to go see.
Did you see Hamilton on Disney Plus?
No, I've not seen Hamilton.
Oh man.
How do you spell Nosferatu?
NOSF.
There it is. Okay, I spelled it wrong. Yeah,
Yeah,
I need to add Nosferatu.
I'm not gonna recommend it because
What?
I don't know if you like musicals or not, and it's a
I don't
live
know.
edition of the music. It's a film. It's a live version of the musical, but being filmed.
Three and a half, three, 3.5 or a 4. I'll give
But
maybe a 4.
Hamilton is
I did like Nosferatu.
Hamilton is Hamilton might be my like favorite thing ever.
Damn.
My favorite piece of art ever. I love Hamilton. So, yeah, I like musicals. Have you seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yeah, I love that movie.
I gave it a
That movie.
7 out of 10.
You ain't like it that much?
I liked it. Cassandra loved it. Cassandra's like, that was a great movie. It was good. I didn't understand when I watched it. I was like, they're trying to tell me this is like one of the best movies ever.
I didn't agree with that. I will say though, this hit more emotion. Like this hit more emotions than Mickey 17 than I thought Mickey 17 would. I will say I haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once since I saw it in theaters back in 2022. God damn.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Been 3 years.
Yeah, the movie came out.
3 years.
That movie came out a while ago. I was living in Chicago when that movie came out.
Yeah, it did get a lot of hype after it came out.
It's the most awarded movie ever, or one of them.
I don't agree with that, but like, look, I thought it was great. I thought it hit very emotionally for me, I guess. With that, but I mean, I enjoyed it. I gave Poor Things a 4.
I gave Poor Things a 7 out of 10.
I might put that down at 3.5.
Yeah, I gave it a 7. That's what I have. I have it at 3.5.
I think I like Poor Things.
Honestly, I heard somebody talk about how much they hated Poor Things, and I kind of vibed with it a little bit. Because they're like, this is supposed to be like a female empowerment movie. Like, that's what they keep billing it as. And it's like, it's literally just this woman having sex. The whole movie. Like, that's not... This is like, to me, what men think female empowerment is. And I'm like, you know, you're kind of making some sense.
Yeah, I mean, she kind of... she does go to a whorehouse toward the end there. I mean, she kind of grows out of it, but yeah.
I don't know. It's also a little like, I mean, you're essentially having sex with a 4-year-old at one point, like mentally speaking. Like it's very, I don't know. Like some things about Poor Things, I was like, I don't know. It's okay. It's good, I guess, but you know. I personally liked. Have you seen The Favorites? That was another movie that guy did with Emma Stone.
What was this? No.
The Favorites is a great movie.
Favorites.
It throws you for a loop.
Ooh, who would I put Oppenheimer? I'll probably put Oppenheimer as a 4.
I put Oppenheimer as a 4.
Yeah. Barbie.
I put Barbie as a 3.5.
3, yeah, that's what I would have. 3.5.
You should watch Anatomy of a Fall if you haven't seen Anatomy of a Fall. It's a long movie and it's a little slow if it's not your cup of tea, but it's a really good movie. I liked it a lot.
Are we still live?
Yeah.
We're on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anatomy of a Fall.
We've just been talking movies. This is what Colin Coward does at the end of his podcast. He'll just spend the last 30 minutes talking about whatever.
Okay. Who is in this movie? What is this movie about?
So it's about this woman's husband dies.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire movie is trying to figure out if his wife killed him or not. And you just it's a court drama to a degree because a lot of it takes place in a courtroom, but it's in France, so it's like a French court drama almost. But it is. I gave it a 10 out of 10. It is so good. It's so good. It was nominated for Best Picture the same year Oppenheimer came out, and it lost out to Oppenheimer. But as somebody who loved Oppenheimer and I waited for Oppenheimer for like a year like to come out. As somebody who loved Oppenheimer, did the whole Barbenheimer experience, all that, Anatomy of a Fall was my favorite movie from that year.
I'll get Wicked a 3. Yeah, I'll get
Damn.
Wicked a 3.
Hey, speaking of Oppenheimer and Christopher Nolan, what is Christopher Nolan's best movie?
I haven't seen all his movies. To be fair,
What do you think is his best movie of the movies you've seen?
Shit. So that's Oppenheimer. That's the Dark one.
It's the Dark Knight
Technically,
trilogy.
all of them. Yeah,
It's Interstellar.
Oh, I need to watch Interstellar. Interstellar's on here.
You haven't seen Interstellar? Oh man,
I've seen Interstellar, but went over my head.
He made Memento. See, we both. See, you're like the only other person who feels the same way as me about Memento. I think that movie is stupid.
It's that
it insists upon
itself. It does.
It's a cool concept, and you're like, but I hate the idea that like it gets to the end and it's like, yeah, this whole thing is just like a loop of this guy that's going crazy and he's never actually doing anything. And I'm like, you're telling me I just wasted 2 hours of my life?
Like, and then I really didn't. And then like I still in like question. I'm like still like, so what fucking happened? What's going on? I don't know.
It's just, there's no point for it to be told backwards. Like I just do not care.
Honestly,
I don't know. Look, I don't know if you can answer this question if you haven't seen Interstellar. The crux of the debate that I'm in is between two of his movies.
I would say it for me. It's probably in between Oppenheimer and The Dark Knight.
Cassandra thinks it's Interstellar is his best movie.
Uh-huh.
And I know for a fact that it's The Dark Knight. I don't even think it's close. Like, I think they're in different categories of movies.
Yeah, but The Dark Knight's so fucking good.
You go to Wikipedia. I did this with Cassandra. We'll go to Interstellar's Wikipedia page, and here's what it says about Interstellar's Wikipedia page. It received generally positive reviews and grossed $681 million worldwide during its theatrical run, making it the 10th highest grossing film in 2014. Among various accolades, it was nominated for 5 awards and won for best visual effects. And then we go to the Dark Knight Wikipedia page.
Yeah,
and here's what the Dark Knight's Wikipedia page is.
I do like Companion, but it was not a full. I did like it.
When it was released in July, it received acclaim for its mature tone and themes, visual style, and performances, particularly from Ledger, who won a bunch of awards posthumously.
Yeah.
It broke several box office records, became the highest grossing film in 2008, and the 4th highest grossing film of all time at that point. Since its release, it has been assessed as one of the greatest superhero films ever, one of the best movies of the 2000s, and one of the best films ever made. And I'm like, these two. Didn't
No Country for Old Men came out in 2008 too?
Yeah. No, 2007.
Damn. Okay.
I never saw No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, I did want to see that too. I heard that's really, really good. I also want to see that one with the milkshake thing.
There Will Be Blood. That's a good movie.
I do want to watch that.
I love that movie, but I will say there is a specific thing about that movie I don't like. So when you do see it, let me know, I will talk.
Is it pretty historic? Like historic?
No,
it's fictional.
There's a thing that happens in the movie that I'm just like, this literally did not need to happen.
Oh.
Like, they could have cut this thing from the movie. The movie would have been substantially shorter, and the movie would have been probably just as good, if not better.
Did you? What movie? Killers of the Flower Moon. Did you
never saw it, but it's been on my list since it came out.
It's a long ass movie. It's on if you have Apple TV. It should be on there.
Okay, we do have Apple TV.
It should be. It's a long.
Speaking of long movies, you see The Brutalist?
I want to. I know it gets a lot of shit because it used AI, but I still do want to see it. It was in the theaters it was in Cinemark for the longest.
Yeah. I want to see it too. I've heard really good things. Carlos swears by it. He was
Oh, really?
recommending it pretty heavily. Yeah.
I do want to see it though.
I do too.
What is it about? Do you
It's
know?
about this guy who I haven't seen it, but basically my understanding is I think he like survives the Holocaust, moves to America, and it's a story. It's an immigrant story about trying to make your way in America. Is my understanding of it.
Okay.
Um, so, but again, I don't know a ton about it because I haven't seen it, but I do want to see it. It's been on my list. Carlos, if you're watching this, I'm gonna get to that thing. We're going to see Mickey 17 tomorrow, though, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Um, yeah, I would.
When's Paddington in Peru out?
I heard that is not as good as the other Paddingtons.
No. Oh.
Because I hear Paddington, at least Paddington 2 is like.
Paddington
is
and
a
Paddington
big-
2 are amazing.
Yeah, I've heard those are amazing movies. I heard this one's not as good. I remember I saw it at the trailer and I was like, this don't look as good.
Paddington, they say Paddington 2's might be the greatest movie ever
Yeah,
made.
I've heard I've heard
really
nothing
good.
but great things about Paddington 2 and but yeah, I don't think this one.
My dad, we showed my we had seen Paddington 1 and we were at my dad's house and we were like, let's watch Paddington 2. So we turn on Paddington 2 and we're watching it. And by the end of it, like, I'm crying, which I don't cry during movies.
Yeah, I don't really cry.
My dad's like sitting here and he's crying. He's like, why am I crying at this movie?
I think Paddington 2 is really good. It's another one I should watch.
Man.
Did you ever go see One of Them Days?
No, I wanted to.
It was pretty funny.
I heard it's good.
Yeah.
Issa Rae's. I love Issa Rae.
I do love Issa Rae. She doesn't make a visual cameo, but she's like featured in the movie a little bit.
So yeah, and then Keke Palmer and SZA doing their thing.
The monkey was. I like the monkey.
I haven't seen the
good.
monkey. What's the monkey?
It's a short story, I think, by Stephen King, and it's about this monkey, this like toy monkey, which is funny. They had to change it in the movie because Pixar Disney had to trademark the cymbal monkey. The monkey so he does the drums in this one, and it's the director of Long Legs, which
I haven't seen Long Legs.
I like Long Legs. I went with a person that loved it more than me. I ended up liking. I should do Long Legs. I'm gonna add Long Legs. I just was like, I just think the ending didn't make sense, in my opinion.
Of Monkey?
No, of Long Legs. The monkey's just ridiculous. The monkey's just ridiculous. Like that's all you just need to know about just the monkey. It's just ridiculous. It's a lot funnier, and all the deaths are most of the deaths are all played for like laughs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, even though it's like some ridiculous ass shit.
Have you seen 1917?
No, I think Charlie and them watched it.
Wolfman
was okay.
1917. 1917's a 9 out of 10.
Wolfman was okay.
It's a 9 out of 10 movie. I love that movie. You seen The Godfather or either of The Godfather?
I haven't seen I've seen a little bit of The Godfather. Part 1 was on TV.
You should watch the part 1 and 2. Don't even worry about part 3.
Yeah, I've heard nothing.
Don't even worry about part 3. Part 3 is stupid.
Alright, I should head out.
Yeah, we've been on here for an hour and a half. That was a cool little 30-minute movie rant. That's fun.
Yeah.
From the screenplays actually already a podcast.
Conclave. Did you ever go last one? Did you ever go see the Conclave? I've heard nothing but good things about it.
We almost watched Conclave the other night, but we opted not to. We watched Wicked Little Letters.
Stanley Tucci's in this movie? I know Stanley Tucci.
We watched
Wicked Little Letters.
Wicked Little Letters, yeah.
What's that?
It's this like comedy. It's got Olivia Colman in it. Um, it's about this woman who's keeps getting these like it's like based in like the like post World War One, so like early 20th century, and this woman gets these letters that are like just grotesque and gruesome, and they're just obscene, and they like cuss at her and call her names, and it's like she's basically getting harassed with these really terrible letters, and they try to figure out who's sending the letters, and they think it's her neighbor because her neighbor's this Irish woman who's single and has a child out of wedlock and is kind of abrasive. And so she gets arrested for sending these letters, and it's about whether or not she actually did send the letters. It's a comedy. Mystery is kind of how it's billed, but have you ever seen Deadlock, the show? Alright, well, never mind. The reference would be lost on you, but it's
Mac Jones to the 49ers.
Dude, he wanted Mac Jones all along, and he finally got him. Oh, wow, that's funny. He's playing the long game. He's like, all right, I'll let you go though. All right, everybody. Well, we love you. Hope you enjoyed our movie rants. All right, bye, y'all.
Bye.
All right, deuces, Christian.
See you, man.